Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bet Gavriel, to another Chazak event. And tonight we have a special treat, as you probably heard or read in the flyers. We're going to have a guest speaker, a very important person to me. That I had the honor about 12 years ago to meet him in my lecture in Manhattan before he became religious. He was a movie star and a filmmaker. He made a movie in HBO, chose his movie, and he was, like they say, in a way to fulfill his American dream. He went to school here, he learned to be a filmmaker, finally made it, and something ruined his plan. You know how they say, the wrong place and the wrong time, or the right place and the right time, depends from what point of view you are looking. And when all the Israeli gang were hanging out in my friend's house in Manhattan, it started at 8888 Avenue. That's the address, 8888 Avenue. I don't remember. If I'm not mistaken, it was also the 8th floor, but I can promise that. There were many more than 8 people there. I don't know, maybe 40 people. They were sitting and playing cards, eating, laughing, drinking, having an entertaining night. And then I showed up. And slowly, those who lost their money were joining me in a living room. And all of a sudden, we had a lecture. I opened my suitcase. There was no laptops yet. It's before the time of the laptop. I had a primitive suitcase, projector. I opened it up. I took my transparencies. And we started to have a seminar there, which took a few hours into the night. And Rav Yuval, that you're going to see soon, was one of the guys there. I can tell you today that almost all the guys that were there today, they are religious, almost all of them. And then that night, none of them were religious, but slowly, with the years, one after the other, Baruch Hashem, came closer to Torah. But the difference between all of them and him is that you can see today that he had a special mission in his life. And after that night, he also came to my house for Shabbat. We said the entire Shabbat, speaking, arguing, asking questions and answers. Then he came to a seminar. And right after that, he decided to leave everything and to go to yeshiva for all the years that he lost. I actually got a little nervous because I told him, hey, not so fast, you know. You just found out the truth 2-3 weeks ago. You already want to go to yeshiva, to leave everything. He said, there's no more time to waste. He left his film by his lawyer and went to Israel. He went to yeshiva over there. A few months later, I went to Israel. He arranged for me a night in his parents' house in Ramat Gan. They have a big apartment. They invited all the friends, relatives, neighbors. It was, Baruch Hashem, a long night. I think it was a 4 hours lecture. And then a few months after, he says, I want you to give me your material, because I want to make a movie and make a lot of Baalei Tshuva. We want to make a lot of people religious. So I laugh. I say, movie? What does it have to do with movie now? Because remember, there was no films in the religious world until that day. Nobody ever thought about making films to make people religious. Nobody ever thought that it's possible. Never before. Guarantee. So he said, I want to make a film and bring this truth to everybody who doesn't know what it is. I'll make it with music, with pictures, make it more entertaining. So I sent him some of the stuff, the material that he needed. He edited the 4 hours lecture into a 1 hour lecture, because he claimed that people don't have patience to listen more than an hour. He added some life after life cases. If you remember, the name of the first movie that came to the Jewish world history was Informatia Elokit, Divine Information. And the rest, of course, is history, because today I have a website that called Divine Information after the name that he made. He made the name, Informatia Elokit was his idea. Not only that Informatia Elokit was his idea, it was also the entire idea of making films to make people religious, something that nobody ever believed. I'm telling you, I laughed when I heard about it. But slowly, slowly, as we moved further and further, I started to see that he was right 100%. Just when the film came out, he took it to a person in Bnei Brak, which is the main distributor of CDs, maybe in the world. His name is Pinchas Reuven in Bnei Brak. All the Sidurim, all the books, all the things that you have, it comes from his place. He has a printing house there. And right there, he started to make thousands every month, until eventually the Israeli secular TV agreed to put the film in, which they never agreed to put anything religious in. Today they have open cables, but in those days there was only 2 or 3 channels. They agreed to put that film in. And from that moment on, everybody who saw the effect of the film started to make films. So my friend, Rav Yuval, perhaps, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe he will correct me, made, I don't know, about 20 films at least by now. Almost every film that comes out is behind it. And one of the famous ones that came, I think, a few years ago, it was Gog Magog. The Final War, the Days of Mashiach. You're going to hear, after a few words of Torah that I will speak, I do not want to speak too long tonight, I want to leave the stage for him, but you're going to hear his personal story, and some words of wisdom. But we have to understand that we have the merit to speak to a person that thousands of Jews today walk with Yarmulke thanks to his work. One thing I forgot to say, that of course he did not make a penny on the movie. Everything was volunteer. He made it all. He worked on it. Remember, it was primitive days. It wasn't like today. Today you have a lot of software that save you a lot of time. 12 years ago, it was very primitive. To make a film, it was a lot of work. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks of full days of work until it finally was ready. I remember once I told him, what about Shidduchim? It's time to get married maybe. He said, forget about it. Right now it's urgent to make Baalei Tshuva. That's right now. I'm sure that when I finish the film, Hashem will not forget me. And shortly after, Baruch Hashem, you're going to hear that Baruch Hashem, he got married to a wonderful woman, as I already hear responses for her performance here last night, right? If you came. Performance in a good way, like what she had to say. Every person who speaks in front of a crowd is some kind of a performance, no? You perform in a good way, Baruch Hashem. So before we're going to hear it, few words that I wanted to say is like this. In the old days, today when we review the world, we have a lot of electrical device, a lot of electronic. Every hour they invent something new. The high-tech market became so sophisticated, many people do not know that when they invent a new model, many times, by the time they invent it, by the time they produce it, there already a new model came, so they skip that. It was all a waste of time. It's so fast now that if you invent something and you don't produce it within a month or two, by the time it will be ready, it's obsolete already. Nobody wants it because there's 1,000,000 times better already. That's how fast the world is advancing now. The Zohar says, one of the prophecies in the Zohar, that in the year 5600, right, in the 6th century of the last 1,000 years of the world, the spring of the wisdom are going to open up. And I have a chart that shows all the discoveries and the invention that people invented in the last 170 years, one by one, all started after that year. And as you can see, the world is very advanced today. Everything is already, even to keep Shabbat today, it's very easy. With all the inventions that they make, they even have a special scooter for handicaps that they can even ride it on Shabbat in a certain way that it's permitted in Israel. Yeah, of course, they argue if it's permitted or not, but the world is becoming very advanced. But in the old days, nobody had those devices. But they still have different ways to tell things. For instance, when they used to go to a war, the prophet used to tell the leader of the army what to do. The prophet is much better than spies. Spies, you risk their life, you put them by the enemies, they have to give you information. Sometimes they make mistakes. With the prophets, there's no mistakes. Right? He tells him what to do. Like it was in the case of Elisha, with the war against Aram, Elisha was saying what to do, what not to do, everything that the enemies were planning. They couldn't believe that the Jews knows everything. What's going on here? Or when they wanted to know something, they used to go to the Kohen that had the Choshen. He had 12 stones on his chest, and based on the questions that they asked, they got the answers on the chest of the Kohen. And he had a special Choshen, 12, and by the stones that they were shining, they knew what Hashem wants us to do. So it's a different world. Today we have a lot of recording device. They asked the Chafetz Chaim 100 years ago, why Hashem waited so many years until He gave us a video machine? The ability to record things on a tape. Yeah, thank you. The ability to record something on a tape and go and listen or watch it later. Why Hashem waited so long? The world would be a much easier place if we have a recording device long time ago. So the Chafetz Chaim answer, until this century, every Jew heard the word Ayin Ro'ah ve'ozen shomat ve'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nichtavim. Every Jew heard that Hashem is watching you, is recording you. Everything you say will be used against you eventually, or will help you, depending if it's positive or negative. And nobody asked questions. It was obvious. Hashem is recording me, of course. No problem, 100%. Chafetz Chaim say, but now, unfortunately, people starting to have doubt. You really believe, Rabbi, that when I die, Hashem will show me my entire life? Come on, it's too much. I don't know, I can't digest such thing. So Hashem started to show us slowly that everything is possible, to help us in our emunah. Unfortunately, not always it's enough. Even though we see all these devices and everything can be recorded, every word you say, everything is recorded, everything you do, there's a camera, you can go back and watch your entire year on a camera, right? We still have difficulties understanding that our short visit into this world eventually will be documented, and we will have to review everything we do. We have a point here. The Torah says that the greatest prophet in history was Moshe Rabbeinu. We know about Moshe a few things. We know that he was the most humble person, because Hashem says in the Torah, nobody can argue. We also know that he was the greatest prophet. He did not say that he's the most righteous person ever lived. No. Nowhere in the Torah it said the word tzaddik about Moshe. It said tzaddik about Yosef. We have a rule when it comes to Judaism, that the fathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, were greater than all the people who came after. Even though King David was a great, big tzaddik, even Yosef was a big tzaddik, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they are the wheels of the carriage of Hashem. It's metaphoric. Hashem doesn't really have a carriage that he needs 2 horses to take him around, right? God forbid if we had such a thing. It's all metaphoric. So Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We find a story in the Torah that Yaakov Avinu, which was such an unbelievable great person, that Hashem showed him things in his dream in the Moriah mountain, and his name was changed to Israel, that his brother Esau is coming with 400 men to fight against him. Now you have to remember, Yaakov Avinu, just his 2 sons, Shimon and Levi defeated the entire nation of the Goyim when they raped Dinah. They went and fought against them and killed all of them. 2 people with their families were able to destroy their entire country. Not only that, we had, when the brother was standing in front of Yosef, Judah was able to destroy Egypt. That's what Chazal said. That's how great Judah was. Judah alone. The tribes were unbelievable people, unbelievable level. It's not like we think another 12 rabbis were walking around, Baruch Hashem, they're righteous and holy. No, no. Every one of them, it was a legendary figure. So Yaakov is a great person. There's no question about this. Esau, the Torah said that he was wicked. All the negative that we see today in the world came from him. It's not that he didn't know the truth. Everything was in his head. Chazal said that his head was buried in Me'arat HaMachpelah, the head. Because knowledge wasn't his problem. Today we have in our generation many ignorant Jews that don't know what they live for. Today somebody called me, 24 years old. He lives in upstate New York. It's very interesting how the world works. You know, I've been in Toronto about 6 or 7 times, Baruch Hashem. And we started a great movement over there. Hundreds of Baalei Tshuva, and there's already mamash, one affecting the others. New Baalei Tshuva all the time. They're watching the lectures on the internet. One of them contacted a Jew that lives 5 minutes away from me in upstate. 5 minutes. Next town, next to Monsey. I don't want to say the name. But mamash, next to Monsey, 5 minutes ride. To a Jew that grew up like Reform, he doesn't know anything. 24 years old. It bothers him that he doesn't know what he lives for. It makes him depressed. What are we doing here? Just we came to work, to go to college. He's asking questions. So the guy from Toronto that became a Baal Tshuva, sending him to me and send him to the film, and already today he started his first move in the world of Tshuva. You see how it works? With the power of the media, in moments, you can travel the entire world. We have a case here that Esau, in his head, he knew everything. The people today, they are not keeping the Torah and the mitzvot, most of them, because they don't have basic knowledge. Ignorance is the biggest danger to the life of a person in any field, not only in religion, in law, in medicine, in computers, in accounting. You know how much it can cost? One mistake in your tax return, if you're not knowledgeable. If you have a big company, you checked in the application the wrong box. Those of you who knows about accounting, you know what I'm talking about. One accountant made a mistake in a tax return in a company in Manhattan. They lost $2 million just from that innocent mistake. It wasn't innocent. It's his fault because he was a lazy accountant. He didn't check the new regulations. If he would check the updates by the IRS, he would know that that doesn't pay. What you used to do all these years will not work this way. You have to do it in a different way. And he would save the company $2 million. It's a chain reaction. You know, $2 million can make a company go bankrupt. It can make hundreds of employees unemployed. It can make those employees unable to send their kids to school, to yeshiva. It can make some of them go to the street and become wicked like Esau because the accountant didn't read the new regulation. You understand how it travels? This is what's going on. Esau didn't have the problem of ignorance. His father was the chief rabbi of the world. Okay? But the desires. Somebody asked me a question today. You know, I get all these questions all the time. Some of them are interesting. Somebody clever asked me a question. He said, I heard in one of your lectures that you say that it's not good to have a dog in a house. It's not good. Why it's not good, you said? Because the dog is a cursed animal. There are 3 cursed animals. The snake, the crow, and the dog. Out of the house, if you have a backyard, no problem. You can put him to watch your house. It's no problem. But my question to you is, I understand your explanation why the dog is cursed, because the dog had relation with the female in the ark. God said to the animals, there's no room to multiply. Nobody is allowed to have babies. Wait here until you come out of the ark, and then you go back to normal. So he asked me, We know that the animals don't have a free choice. That's why we say every morning in a prayer, no? Mutar ha'adam min ha'behema ayin. What's the difference between a man, right? What's the difference between a man to the animal? We say every morning in a tefillah. Ayin, no difference, except one. Milvad ha'neshama te'ora, besides the holy, pure soul, שהיא עתידה ליתן דין וחשבון לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Everything is the same between us and the animals. Physically, we are the same, bunch of molecules, material. The difference that we have is that we have a free choice. And because of that free choice, we are responsible for what we do. So we can earn or lose, depend what we choose to do. That's very simple. So he asked me in that case, why did Hashem get angry at the dog? The dog doesn't have a free choice. So why he got cursed? It's not in his hand. He doesn't have a free choice. So the answer is, there are two kinds of evil inclination. Two kinds of Yetzer Hara. One Yetzer Hara is spiritual, and one Yetzer Hara is physical. Two kinds of Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara that is spiritual, this is the Satan that has his own angels that are working for him, he's in charge of them, he's the charge of all the evil in the world, and they tempting us to make sins. Temptations all the time. You go to certain places, you see certain places in a dream, all kinds of things that they do. But there is a Yetzer Hara which called physical desires. Person has desires, physical desire, food, women, laziness, physical pleasure that he's searching for, drugs, many ways of physical desire. Physical desires everybody has. People and animals. The animals also have desires. The monkeys in a safari also runs after the female. They don't have to buy them a drink and make a show, because over there it's a little bit more, they open, they don't have a show. We are the people, we are great actors. At least we think so. That we fool the world. Everybody with his show. With the clothing, with the way you talk, on the dates, how she, all of a sudden she's Rabbanit. If you only knew who is dating. Everybody puts his show. One Chiloni singer that killed himself in a jail after he was arrested, he said in his song, "Ha'olam bama ve'anachnu sachkanim." The world is a stage, and all of us are actors. I don't think that he was that intelligent to make it up on his own. Probably he heard it from someone, but it doesn't make a difference. It's words of wisdom. The world is a stage, and everyone is an actor. Once in a while, you find someone that is humble, innocent, that doesn't know how to pretend. This is what you get. This is the way I am. I'm this, I'm that, I don't have money, I'm not handsome, I don't have intelligence, my parents are not the greatest in the world, I come from this family, I don't have yichus. That's the way I am. You need strong emunah to tell the people who you are. What's the difference between a great man to a low life? What's the difference? How you define a great man and a worse man? How? What's the difference between them? The great people, the great holy rabbis and all the righteous people who lived before, they were always busy hiding their greatness. The losers are always busy hiding their problems, who they really are. That's why when he goes on a date, he borrows his friend's Mercedes. You fool. Tomorrow she'll find out it's not yours. It's going to be worse. The opposite. If you're having a Mercedes, you have to make sure not to come with that to the date. You want her to marry you or your car? If you want her to marry your car, don't go on a date. Send the car with the driver. This is the date. He's busy, he didn't want to lose time in his business. Here, this is your date for tonight. Send also flowers inside, no problem. Some people like to lie to themselves. They're insecure. How will I make sure that she will choose me? How? Let's see what I can bring. I'm going to bring a nice car. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to do this. I will borrow that. I will take her to that place. That's not how you establish a relationship. So a great person is always busy hiding his greatness. Who are you? Nothing. I'm just, just a Jew. Just a Jew. But somebody who doesn't have anything makes a lot of noise. The Gemara already spoke about people like this. Istera belagina kish kish karya. 1 penny in a tzedakah box makes a lot of noise. While when the tzedakah box is packed, no noise whatsoever. No noise whatsoever. So anyway, the animals also have desires. The same desires like people have. For the one time in history that God came to them and said, for a while, for a short period of time, hold your desires. Don't do anything because there's no room to multiply here in the ark. And the dogs didn't listen, and that's why they got cursed, etc., etc., etc. 2 different kinds of Yetzer Hara. Our Yetzer Hara, we have to fight against our desires. If a person is lazy, he has to make a system how I get out of it. Same thing, same way a person has to get rid of drugs. If he's addicted to drugs, he has to get saved. He has to go on a program. Just like that, he won't do it on his own. Same thing that we have a lot of addictions, like a person is addicted to food. So in Israel, they made up a very interesting thing. They put something that's called jaws. They lock the mouth of the person, and only the mother or the father has the key. I'm serious. Cannot eat. Cannot open his mouth. I don't know how they talk because I never saw it, but that's called jaws. But that's not the right way. If a person eliminates his desire artificially, it's not passing his test. If you lock a person in a room and because of that he doesn't make any sin, he never became a better person. He just does not have access to make sins. The idea is, this is my negative, this is the problems that I came to this world with, and I have X amount of years to clean it. I have to get rid of my ego, my laziness, my anger, my jealousy. We all have problems, obviously. So the question is like this. Yaakov, that is the greatest person in the world, and Esau comes, and Yaakov is very, very strong. Why Yaakov is afraid of him? Why? Why Yaakov is afraid of Esau? Yaakov can go 1, 2, 3 with the help of the angel, with the knowledge of the Torah that he knows, and Esau falls dead, drop dead in 1 second. Guarantee. No questions asked. People that cannot be 1% of Yaakov Avinu's level were able to do it in the time of the Gemara, the Tanaim. To say the name of Hashem and the person dropped dead, like Rabbi Akiva and his friends and Rabbi Shimon and all the Amoraim. Believe me, they're not reaching the level of Yaakov Avinu, even though they are legendary people. No, it's no question. But Yaakov is Yaakov. So why is he afraid? The answer is, I'm not afraid that he's going to kill me. I'm afraid that I'm going to kill him. It's my brother. He's wicked, but it's my brother. How can I kill my brother? I have a father that is watching. Even if he comes to attack me, and the Torah says someone who comes to kill you, you're entitled to kill him first, but it's your brother. It's your brother. And this is us, the Jews. The secular Jews are our brothers. They have no idea what they live for. They curse us all the time in the media. They say bad things about us. Sometimes we go crazy for the stupidity of some of the things they say. But we have to remember, who are they? Today they're like this. Go next year, you see, they sit in a kollel and learn Torah. Right? Many people that sit here, I remember them 5 years ago. They're not exactly, look, the way they are today. And we will finish with one thing. I'll give an example about what I mean. The Midrash brings a story, metaphoric. Obviously it didn't happen in reality, but for us to get the idea. When the gold and the metal had an argument, a debate. The gold told the metal, why are you so loud? Why you scream so loud? So he asked him, the medal, when do I scream? He said, when they hit you with a hammer, you make so much noise. Nobody can stand the noise that you make. Be a little bit more quiet. You cannot suffer quietly. Look at me. I also get hit. The Bukharians in 47, they hit me all day. When they made me into a necklace. But I never make that much noise. Look, I'm quiet when you hit me. So the medal told him, hey, you Mr. Big Shot. Hey, you Mr. Big Shot. You are quiet because a stranger is beating you up. A medal, the hammer, is made from a medal. So they hit you with the medal on gold is stranger, it's not so painful. By me, they hitting me with my own brother. Medal hit medal. You understand why I'm loud? The pain is much greater. That's what it is. When my brother hits me, my pain is a lot worse. Not only for my physical or spiritual pain, my pain is for him. That every time he hit me, what is he going to get for it? That's the pain. That's the real pain. That's the real pain. I once told the mashal that one father had 10 sons. All of them poor except one. One was very wealthy. And when he died, before he died, he called all of them and said, I want to say goodbye to each one of you. You're all great children. So all the poor ones went one after the other, and the wealthy ones stay last. So the wealthy one thought, is keeping me the last one to give me the greatest Chazak u'Baruch. I did so much for him. I paid his mortgage, I helped him, I bought groceries. Then the father says to him, my son, I'm very disappointed from you. Why? You don't even love me. Say, Father, you're getting confused. Maybe you're losing your insanity here. I am the one for 20 years. I supported you, I fed you, I paid your mortgage, I drove you to places. They did not do anything for you. They couldn't afford to do anything for you. You are satisfied from them and you're not happy for me? So he say, no, you don't get the point. You did a lot for me. No questions asked here. I know you did for me. That's not what I'm complaining about. My question to you is, you saw that you have 9 brothers. And I love these 9 brothers. They are my sons. You never did anything for your brothers. You did for me, but you did nothing for them. Don't you know that every day when I see your brother are starving, they are poor, they cannot afford anything, that I'm suffering from that? If you really love me, first thing you do is make sure that every one of your brothers have enough money to live decent life. Not wealthy life, but decent life. That his children can go to good yeshiva, that they have enough food for Shabbos, for holidays. You did not care about your brothers, and that's all these 20 years that you've been feeding me. It was a whole long stretch torture for me, seeing my other sons how they are. If you really love me, you would take care of your brother. And this is what Hashem said to each one of us. Yes, we're trying to be religious. We're trying to be righteous. We're trying to do what Hashem wants us to do. But some of us, not all, some of us do not care about the other sons of Hashem. And the idea, and this is an emergency today. This is one of the last generation we live in. We're very close to the end. You should know. All the signs came through. We are very close to the end. So now, the most urgent thing is to save as many souls as possible. And Be'ezrat Hashem, I have the honor, I'm privileged, to invite my dear friend that came specially from Eretz Israel for Zikui Arabim. I can testify that for more than 12 years since I know him, there's only one thing in his mind. How do we bring more children to our Father in heaven? The faster, the better, 100%. From morning to night, 7 days a week, 365 days in the entire year. And Be'ezrat Hashem, after you're going to hear his story, I'm sure you're all going to be very inspired. Please welcome Rav Yuval Ovadia. יש לך רמקול? שים גם את זה. שים את זה פה, זה בשביל המצלמה.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm happy to hear you. My name is Yuval. They invited me here to tell a personal story. Like everybody has his own story. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My voice is a little bit weak, so I must use the mic. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just tell my story, and everybody takes whatever he wants from this story. I was born in Israel, in Tel Aviv, in a secular home, secular family, Masorati. And like all the secular youngsters in Israel and all over the world, actually, I grew up a lot with TV, with movies, all this stuff, and we were very influenced by those movies that we watched. If, for instance, we watch a movie like with Bruce Lee, we started going karate in the streets. If we watch something with like a car chasing, we started going crazy with the cars on the streets. We were all very influenced, like everybody. And since I was very, very young, about the age of 13, 14, 15, at that time I think was the movie Grease with John Travolta. I had a hair like this. I imagined myself like John Travolta. I put gel in the hair. And I was imagining that I meet Olivia Newton-John and we live happily ever after, like in the movies. And since that time, I started to develop the dream of my life, that I want to be a movie star. Of course, my parents and everybody around me, they thought that, it's just a dream. When the time comes, the guy will grow up, and he goes through the usual procedure of army, work, getting married, kids. But I was very, very determined and very focused. Many Israelis, right? Oh, thank you. Can I have some? Many Israelis, when they finish the army, right after the army, they go like to India, whatever, to relax. I wasn't like that. I knew as soon as I finished the 3 years army, I go to the state and I'm going to become a movie star. That's what I thought. And right after the army, I was working a couple of months. My parents didn't like the idea, so I had to do it by myself. I had to make money and for the flights and for everything. And then I went to New York because I wanted to make it big. I said, if I do it, I got to go to the best place, America. Why to be an actor in Israel and then maybe somebody in America will take me? I want to start big. That's how I saw it. Then I came to New York. I had no family, no relatives. I had just a friend, like that when I knew him from Israel, and he moved with his family to Brooklyn. So he took me from the airport. I started working right away to support myself, construction, moving, whatever I could. And then, about 2 months in New York, I said, all right, I got to start. I got no time. I felt like every time, all my life, I felt like I've not enough time. I got to do it. I got to do it right away. Everything I was about to do, I wanted to do it fast. I wanted to be done right away. So I said, let's go. I got to go. I got to be a movie star. So at that time there was a TV a TV show called The Fame. You heard about it? With Leroy and all this. I once danced with him on a bar in Manhattan before he died. And I said, where is this school that calls Fame? I saw on TV, so where is it? They told me, yeah, really, there is a school that the TV series is based on it. It calls Lee Strasberg School in Union Square, 15th Street. But you have to have an audition. At that time, it was very difficult to get there. Very special school. But Robert De Niro graduated this school. Liza Minnelli, Marlon Brando. I said, all right, I'm the Israeli Marlon Brando. I went there. I had a very basic English. Only 2 months, few months in the States. And I got accepted. I was the first Israeli in this school. I started to learn acting, dancing, tap, everything around the stage. You take it very seriously. And then, after a couple of years, I realized that it's really, really impossible to become a movie star. It's very difficult. New York and LA is full, packed of millions of beautiful and talented people from all over the world. They all see America in the movies and they want to be a movie star or a singer or a model. Everybody want to be famous there in Manhattan, in Los Angeles. And I'm just a simple little boy from Tel Aviv. What can I do? But I was very stubborn. And I didn't want to give up. I found out that maybe 1 out of 100,000 people gets a small part in a commercial. In a feature film, a speaking part, maybe 1 out of 500,000 people. A leading part, it's like winning the lottery. And even if you got a leading part, it doesn't mean you're a movie star yet, because about 70 to 80% of the movies produced every year don't get distributed. So nobody get to see them. They work on the film, they do the whole process, and it doesn't get accepted. Nobody distribute them. So even if you, let's say you star in a movie, 80% chance that it doesn't do anything. So what? So you need to make a movie, it get distributed, and then they get you a bigger part with more money, with bigger name actors, and then you're on the road to the top of the world. That's how I realized after a couple of years in America. So at the same time, I started working in different jobs, like I said before, electronics, video games. And I was never a good businessman, never. I was never looking for money. I didn't come here for money. I was, you know how they say, if you run away from kavod, it comes after you. So that's how the money started coming after me. Suddenly I found myself making $3,000-$4,000 a week. I moved to Manhattan to a beautiful building by Park Avenue and 87th Street. I started to live the good life. Ski, snowboard, Miami, Los Angeles. I had friends everywhere, parties. I was hanging out with guys worth $80-90 million. Young guys. And at that time, I had an agent, and I didn't give up my dream. So finally, I got a first main part in a feature film. I hope we're going to be soon. We're going to see like a little clip of it, so you don't think you don't say I talk bullshit, you know. And this movie was a typical action movie. I was beating up people, shooting, and all this stuff. And it was actually taken by a distributor in Hollywood. I was invited there to a film festival by Santa Monica. You know, I came there as a star of the movie. Parties, cocktail parties, all this stuff. And then, at that time, we had a producer, which is in Tribeca Film Center, whoever knows, but the building of Robert De Niro, who was dealing with me of doing, we were starting negotiating, making another movie, a bigger one, $11 million budget. We had a director. Wesley Snipes gave his permission to be the, second actor next to me. I was supposed to play the lead. And it was supposed to be the movie of my life, because the script was something amazing. It was supposed to be action comedy. Wesley Snipes, Cameron Diaz. I was supposed to play a Mossad agent who's coming to New York to fight with the weapon cartel, the drug cartel, the Russian mafia. And these guys got like fantasies, like he's got always fantasies from John Travolta. For example, if he's on a chase after the bad guys, in the middle of the chase, he turns to look like from the 60s, and the cars going on the side, If he's on a chase after the bad guys in a club, suddenly he starts dancing like John Travolta. It was a crazy movie, like action, comedy, everything I dreamt about. But at that time, right between the first and the next movie, I decided to leave everything, and I made a teshuvah, and I went back to Israel. Excuse me for a second, the projector works? Okay, we're going to show you now, just a short clip from my movie that calls The Final Journey. It's ready? Okay. Just about something short, which we have there also little clips of my action movie. And why did I really decide to leave everything? After that, we'll continue the evening with Bezrat Hashem. We're ready? Daka? Okay. Since we have 1 minute, I'll tell you a small joke that I heard. 2 Reform rabbis were sitting in a coffee shop. So one told the other, in my community, we're so liberal that we have ashtrays in Shabbat, ashtrays right next to each prayer so you can smoke. The other rabbi tells him, what are you talking about? In our community, we have the grocery open in Yom Kippur, right in the back of the synagogue. If somebody wants to go eat, it doesn't have to go far. The third one tells them, what are you talking about? In my community, in the holidays, we have a big sign says, close to the holidays. So, are we ready to rock and roll? Everybody told me in America they work slow, but anyway, I tell you what. At that time, right between the first and the second movie, I was in a way confused. I got what I wanted. I got money. I got, I got the movie that I dreamt about, another movie coming up. I had very good life. As far as material life, I had everything anybody could dream of. And why I'm saying that? Because many times you hear about people that Baalei Tshuva, that they had a disaster in their life, or they lost money, or somebody died, God forbid. But in my story, it was different. Baruch Hashem. Oh, it's ready.
As a boy, he watched his family destroyed by war.
As a man, he became a member of his military's secret service.
הוא נתן לך דיסקים להביא לי, איך קוראים לו?
Now he's been sent to America to track down an international weapons cartel, haunted by memory, driven by rage. He's a trained assassin who's uncovered a deadly conspiracy that's about to become his personal target for revenge.
למה זה כפול?
חכה. את זה היית אולי... לא, בעצם זה תופס.
When I was a little boy, I had a hard time falling
זה
asleep.
מקליט.
I tried to imagine what my life would be like when I grew up and had a wife and children. And beyond that, to my grandchildren and great-grandchildren, would the world even exist that long?
Why is it
And
that
what would happen in 1,000 or million years?
You don't see nothing.
Maybe the whole world would be destroyed and there would be only nothingness. I thought and I thought until I hit an impasse, the unknown.
It's also dark.
Then I would
Tell them it's
think about
dark.
the world
Picture's
before I was born, my parents' lives before they met and had a family, and further back, before my grandparents, and then back to the creation of the earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and before that, when everything was only nothingness, just air and gas and all kinds of chemicals. I thought and I thought, again arrived at the impasse of the unknown. And finally, inevitably, I stopped thinking and fell asleep. I grew up in a warm, traditional family. Aside from deep thoughts about the universe,
כל
I
כפול
didn't have
ושחור
any
לבן.
special fears or worries. My parents worked hard and focused on one all-important goal, the raising and the care of the family nest.
Why it's black and white and double square?
Life was simple and straightforward, like nature, which interested me more than anything else. The beach, the crashing waves, the rain, and the puddles I loved to
Am I
jump.
asking, please?
I loved spending time with my grandfather,
See, you have the screen.
And it's dark.
although he had become life at a young age, was always happy with what he said. Didn't complain, and put his trust in God.
I don't
I
know if
liked
there's
listening to
anything.
his
It's not
stories
rushing.
about the old times, each with a clear moral lesson. Be good to others, fight for justice, and always trust God.
anything color?
For me,
It's
God
cut off and
existed,
it's
but very
where's the
briefly.
colors?
A kind of a father who lived up in heaven, perhaps, far and unreachable. But to my grandfather,
Call whoever
God
you
was
try.
real
Ask
and
him, please.
tangible. Someone he prayed to, raised and thanked for everything in his life.
See everything.
In high school, the party started. We started dressing and behaving according to the prevailing norms and fashions. All our dreams and aspirations rose or fell according to what we saw on TV and in the movies. It seemed to us that movie and rock stars were the happiest people in the world. It was during this time that I decided to one day fly to America and become a famous movie star. As soon as I got out of the army, I was off to New York. New York was invigorating, the hub of the universe, the land of unlimited opportunity that makes you feel small and insignificant and big and powerful at the same time. It's impossible to shake the feeling that you're living a 24-hour movie, except for one small difference. In the movies, the screenplay writer always makes sure the ending is good. Real life's a lot tougher. To succeed in anything, you need to work hard. In New York, it's a million times truer. I took a variety of jobs, at the same time steering myself in the direction of my American dream. I started acting and filmmaking, went to auditions and quickly discovered that New York is full of endless number of beautiful and talented people from all over the world. They all have the same dream, to be a star. and I'd had some success and earned some money. I bought a nice American car, partied, ate out, and lived in a fancy building with a doorman. In short, my dream was coming true. But the reality was not that rosy. I began observing my surroundings with greater attention and realized that all these people, or at least most of them, weren't happy. The opposite was true. They had this constant need to go on vacation, to relax, to get out and party. If someone's happy, why would they have this never-ending need? What I wanted, what we all wanted, was to be really living and enjoying our life, all the time, not just occasionally. And this wasn't possible. Suddenly I realized that we were all stuck in the infinite vicious circle of chasing fame and fortune, wanting to be important, admired, and adored. The truth is, we were all very lonely, myself included. Meanwhile, I kept pursuing my dream, and finally, after many long and exhausting years, I got my foothold in the movie world, starring a typical American action movie. Lots of guns, helicopters, and fighting. Received an invitation to a film festival in Hollywood. My dream was coming true. When I discovered that most of the key people there were businessmen lacking any real artistic knowledge, my disappointment was huge. The people deciding which movies show in Israel, England, France, the whole world, don't consider the influence the movies have on the education of the viewers or the substance of the plot. What's important to them is which star they can get for the movie and how many violent scenes there will be. In short, how much money the movie can make. As always, money, and only money, is the name of the game. These were the people who molded the dreams of my youth. These are the people who mold the dreams of millions all over the world. So I'd had a dream. I wanted to be like all these famous people, except I forgot to check out whether it was worth being like them. Were they really as happy as they always looked on TV or in the papers? Or were these just the smiles they kept for the photographers and the fans, for us? I forgot to check how they behaved in the families, how they behaved as human beings. I forgot to check the number of divorces, the number of affairs, how many take drugs, the percent involved in fraud and embezzlement. I was blinded by the dazzle and forgot what my grandfather had once told me. Look not upon the vessel, but at what is in it. Before buying clothes or a car or apartment, I do research so I don't blow it and end up taking a big loss. But for this item called my life, I didn't research anything. I just went with the flow, with the fashion. Yes, my parents and my teachers educated me, and also my neighborhood friends to a lesser degree. But weren't they also influenced by the mass media? They also watched TV and read newspapers. When they took a closer look, it became clear that we are all victims of the decrease of fashion determined by those in the film studios, the TV stations, and the newsrooms, who have the power of the media at their fingertips. They hold by force the most powerful influence that has ever existed, steer public opinion as they will, and influence us all, for good or for evil. They use specialized advertising methods to sell a certain product, to convince us which juice tastes better, which movie is worth seeing, which public figure is more trustworthy. Everything. They control our decisions and influence us every inch of the way without us realizing it. But all in the name of democracy, the name of freedom. Freedom to know everything. Freedom to hear and to see. The freedom for each person to destroy himself and everything around them. And what interests them more than anything else are the ratings, the percentage of people who spend money. This realization hit me like a bomb during that film festival. The thoughts raced through my mind like a flash. I felt ashamed, but above all, I felt an overwhelming sorrow for all those who have, like me, been deceived. Sorrow for all those young people in New York, Tel Aviv, London, and Moscow who will learn from people with no moral limits or breaks, who through the media influence our lives. It's no wonder that we become constantly craving profit and reward. It's no wonder the world's crime rates are consistently rising. Due to the vast number of shocking news stories, we've become used to hearing things that a generation ago would have heard about once a year. Robberies, murders, suicides, divorces, destroyed families, children growing up without love, family values and morals. We have become an ugly and corrupt society. When I returned to New York from Hollywood, the life I've been living was completely erroneous, rotten to the core. I had to change direction. The questions from my childhood returned to nag me. Why are we here? Is everything by chance? Should we just eat, drink, and be merry for tomorrow we die? And if there is a purpose to our lives, what is it? What's right and what's wrong? I dropped everything and embarked on an information quest. Information is worth its weight in gold. Throughout my life, I've been exposed to many different kinds of information and learned new things. Most people are unable to change or to be changed because they are fixed in their opinions and aren't open to new ideas that oppose the old ones, dismissing unwelcome information with negative labels, brainwashing, prejudice, superstition, etc. I believe that it's the right, no, obligation of every person to examine every kind of information to help formulate as much as possible an objective opinion regarding the world in which they live. Since I'm a thorough person, I began examining every detail closely, collecting as much accurate data as possible from qualified people.
Okay, unfortunately the projector doesn't work well, and at this point, the truth is it's very hard to deliver the decision to stop the dream of my life in a 10-minute clip or even in a whole evening. How could I live like something that I dreamt of, that I put a lot of effort into, and decided to go to world of Torah, of which for that time at least I thought it has nothing to do with movies anymore. Well, I can maybe try to deliver you the feeling by a short story that I'm going to tell you. Two friends saw in the newspaper an ad. They found a lost island in the end of the world. Something beautiful with waterfalls, rivers, diamonds and jewelries all over like sand. Heaven. They said, you know what? Let's move there. Let's go. Let's live there. They said to one another, let's go. They worked for a couple of months to save money. At that time, they didn't have airplanes. It was about a 6-month trip in a train. And the day came, they went on the train. They got a nice cabin. Since it's a 6-month trip, they have to have everything there. All the luxury, jacuzzi, sauna, and pool table, bar, drinks, TV. Nice. They have to enjoy the trip. So the train started moving. And after about a month or two, one of the guys, which is a guy who is very observing. He always looks, he observes people, he observes things. He thinks. He doesn't go with the flow. He tells his friend, you know what? I look through the window and I see the landscape is becoming more and more dry, like a desert. If we're supposed to go to this place that the newspaper said, it's supposed to be like heaven, it's supposed to be greener. The other friend tells him, you know what, forget. Stop thinking. Let's enjoy it. What are you talking about? We're on the right way. Don't worry about it. Here, the TV show, I was just waiting for the whole week. It's coming up. Take beer, drink some beer. So he convinced him. The train keeps moving. After about 2 more months, the other guy is still very uncomfortable. He said, wow, I'm telling you, the landscape is getting more and more drier. Through the window, it's getting more yellow. It's supposed to be greener. And the train stopped at that moment in a station. He said, you know what? I'm going to go ask somebody on the dock. Dock, he said. And he said, maybe we're on the wrong way. He went off the train and he saw one of the guys who was working there. He asked him, you know, tell me please, this train, is it going to the... Oh, he asked him, you know where it's going, the train? He told him, you know what, I'm pretty new here. I don't know exactly where it's going. So he asked him, we're going to a place which has water, green, a lot of diamond. You know, he explained him the place. Looks like heaven. So the guy told him, I think it's the other side. The train on the other side. I'm not sure. I'm pretty new here. So this guy heard that. He went back to his cabin and he told his friend, get up, get up. The guy is sleeping after a long night of TV and beer and drinking. Get up, we're on the wrong way. I told him, what are you talking about? He said, I asked somebody who's working here and he said, you think we're on the wrong way. Forget about it. Why do you listen to him? They brainwash you. You crazy? Close the window. Don't look outside. Don't listen to these people telling you bullshit. Look, what a beautiful train. What a nice TV. What a nice drinks. So he convinced him. They kept going, and another month, it's the last stop before the end. The guy is very nervous. He said, I think we're on the wrong way. I don't know. The train stopped, and at the same moment, another train stopped to the other way around, to the opposite way. So he got off his train, and he ran away to the other train, hysterically. The first cabin he opened, he saw some young guy. He told him, excuse me, where is your train going? They told him, we're going to a place which is beautiful, water, green, diamonds, heaven. He told him, what are you talking about? And where is my train going? This one? He told him, you know what? Forget about it. This is the last stop to hell. As soon as you get there, they chain you, you're going to be slave forever. Midbar, desert, forget about it. Get out of there right away before it's too late. He said, wow. He ran back to his cabin and he wakes up his friend and tells him, the guy is saying this and that. The guy tells him, what are you talking about again? They brainwash you? Are you crazy? Let them enjoy. They tell you lies. Tell them, no, they said that this train is going the opposite way. So his friend tells him, how did their train look like? Did they have TV? He said, no. Did they have bar of drinks? No. Even the sauna, jacuzzi? No. Everything was out of wood. He said, you see, I told you, they're lying. He said, you know what? I don't care how the train looks like. I care where I'm going, and I'm on the wrong way. So he packed his stuff, and he left the train. and the other guy, his friend, stayed there. And this is my story. I was in a train, which was very nice, with jacuzzi, sauna, gym in my building. Every day I was swimming, jacuzzi, sauna. I was putting cream, masks. I was very, very spoiled. Ski, snowboard. I was right by the Central Park every day. I was rollerblading in Central Park. Parties, restaurants. Very nice train. But I was observing. I was thinking. Every time I went out, I was looking at my friends. I was thinking, even though I was together with them, I realized that nobody's really, really happy. I was hanging out sometimes with Leonardo DiCaprio and people like that. And I realized that every time we go like to a club, they drink and they drink and they drink until they drop on the floor. And we're going to carry them on the back to their apartment. And I was thinking, if somebody's happy, does he need to drink so much all night to run away from his reality, to take drugs? Yeah, everybody's taking drugs, drinking. Everybody. People with money, successful people. I'm not talking about the people who work from sunset to sunrise. I'm talking about people who made good money, were successful. Everybody got a Porsche. I had a Grand Cherokee Jeep, which was okay. I was pretty modest. But they had, wow. Why they always drink? Why they always have to get drunk? Drugged. If somebody's happy, he needs to run from his reality? Every second, third couple are divorced or betray each other. If somebody's happy and good and he has a good life, does he need to betray? Does he need to change his partner? No. So I realized probably they don't have good life. When I saw them on TV, on the magazines, they look so happy, so smiling, wow. I thought, wow, this is the way to happiness. But I didn't know that right after the smile to the photographers, they go to their apartment and take pills, like against depression. Yeah, all these famous people that you see on TV, all of them. They can't live without them. And then I was thinking to myself, at that time I was going to lectures. I went to Rabbi Mizrachi, who was one of the first rabbi that I went to here. He came in Manhattan to one of my friend's apartment, and we used to go there and listen to his lectures. And I went here to Queens a couple of times. Friends of mine took me there. I also went, unfortunately, to the Kabbalah Center of this foolish guy, Dr. Berg. Berg, what's his name? Doctor for people. Doctor for famous people. And so he's probably got powers, this guy. So, you know what I realized? I asked myself, I think the better way. לא, אבל זה כל פעם נחבא. I asked myself, what was the reason for me to leave everything back in Israel and to come to the unknown in America? What was the reason for everybody who's doing so much effort to become a movie star, to become a model, a singer, or a pilot, or a millionaire? All those things that we all put so much effort for that, and which we're willing to give all our lives for that. Do you know what the reason is? Could anybody tell me? I'm asking you.
want your work to be left after you?
Why?
To teach other generation.
What for? Why do you want to be a movie star? Why do you want to be a singer? Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to be a millionaire? Why?
Pride. Pride.
Pride? Kavod?
Not knowing who you are.
Because you're not knowing who you are? Because of that? Yeah. You want a good life. Why do you want to have a good life?
We came here to enjoy the world.
They ask one, a Jewish guy, why you always answer with questions? Tells him, why not? So, I tell you what, you're all right. You're looking for, because you want kavod, you want respect, you want to feel good. But I thought there's one answer for all those, the root of the answers. And you don't have to agree with me. That's what I realized while I was thinking and getting knowledge and listening to Torah lectures. You know the song, all we need is love. Da, 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 da. All we need is love. Love is all we need. John Lennon. Every song in the world is love. Kapara, Ayuni. Every movie is a love story. Every book is a love story. Why? We all want love. We all want love. That's true. In Kabbalah it says that the Shekhinah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, is all full of love. What we say in Shir HaShirim, V'diglo alai ahava. Many people who died, clinic death, near-death experience, they said they're so light and they felt love all over. They didn't want to come back to this world. The Zohar says that Kadosh Baruch Hu is all full of love and goodness. And we all, this information I realized later, yeah? After I studied some Torah and some, we all are part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'tzelem Elokim bara et ha'adam. We all nitzotz from the big thing that calls HaKadosh Baruch Hu. From his existence, he took a little bit of his existence and he made this world. So every soul here and all over the world is a little bit of him, of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And since that, when we were back there, we were all full of love and happiness. Everybody, every one of us. And then, Kadosh Baruch Hu put us in his body for 60, 70, 80, 90 years, whatever, for a mission. Why? It's another lecture. And as soon as the baby came out, he's crying. Wah, wah, wah. So the mother hugs him, comforts him. She gives him food because the body needs the food, but he also needs to calm him down. She hugs him, she gives him love. And he comes down when he gets love. And when he grows, every time the mother or the father on the phone are busy, he's disturbing them. He's doing big balagan. Why? Because he wants love. He wants attention. He's longing for that great feeling of love that he had over there subconsciously. And when he grows up later, he thinks, you know what? If I have a motorcycle, I'm going to go in the neighborhood and all the girls are going to look at me and I'm going to get this love that I'm missing, that my soul is missing. But he doesn't get anything like that. He maybe gets some looks, some people look at him, wow, but nothing. And when he grows older, he thinks, you know what? If I'm going to have a Grand Cherokee, if I have a BMW, if I'm going to go in the neighborhood with my big, beautiful car, then I'm going to get that. He doesn't know. And he thinks, you know what? If I'm going to be a movie star, or a singer, or a model, then I'm going to get. And I see them on the news. I see them on the newspapers. They're happy. They look there like they have lots of love from all over. And when he gets there, and I got there, Some people don't get there, so they keep dreaming. At least they have hope. But the people who get there, who made the millions, who made the dream, they realize that nothing. You still go home and you feel lonely and you feel emptiness. And maybe you have some good times when you go to a movie, 2 hours, good time, all right. But what then? What after that? Maybe you have some good times when you're in a party or you watch a basketball game. But what the life? What about your life? Nothing. You didn't hit the point what you came for to this world and your soul is seeking for all life. And then I thought to myself, if you take someone who's got career and good job, he's got money, everything in the world, but he doesn't have relationship, good relationship with a woman, with his wife, if they don't have a very good relationship, he doesn't sleep well at night. He can't be relaxed. He's got everything, but not that. On the other hand, if you take somebody who doesn't have a job, doesn't have money, nothing, but he's got a good relationship, love at the house, him and his wife, like Zug Yonim, he's much happier than the other guy, right or not? Yes. Of course, if he also has some money, by the way, why not? You're welcome. Avraham Avinu was a millionaire, but it's not the most important thing in his life. First of all, the good relationship, zugiyut, family life. Everybody's looking for that. Even those people who go in the clubs. They think that we get in the club a good husband or a good wife. Bullshit. Yeah, they think so. They imagine, they like me, in the movie. I thought I go in a club and I see Olivia Newton-John and I come to her and I say like this and we live happily ever after. And then, after listening to lecture of Rabbi Mizrachi, and others, and luckily I was in a seminar in Monsey, I heard Dr. Bratesh, if you know, amazing guy. I realized my train, I'm in the wrong train. And I'm not talking about heaven and hell in the next world, I'm talking now. On the trip to heaven, the train is already hell. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I realized. The train is already in bad shape. Divorce, betrayal, what about the kids, schools, knives in schools, drugs? What kind of train I have? For a while I thought there's no other hope. I had a good friend of mine, he was a non-Jew. And we sat one day, we talked, and he was a pretty nice guy, if you can say on a goy. And he told me, you know what? The world has become a disaster. And I know the church is bullshit. He told me that. But what do I have? Do I have any other way? Which way I'm going to have my family, my future family? Which way? And I thought to myself, look at this poor guy. He doesn't have anything, but I have. Because I was going at that time, to some Jewish lectures. And I thought to myself, wow, Baruch Hashem, thank God, I do have a way. He doesn't have it, but I do have. The Jewish way, the Torah, which was written by the Creator who made us. And He knows that we need love, because we're part of Him. And He wants us to be happy. What is the masochist? Chas v'chalila? No. He showed us a way to be happy, to fulfill yourself, to get to this love and happiness that you're seeking all your life. We got the way. The only question is, first of all, if we acknowledge that, if we know which is the right way. Second of all, when we know, do we choose to go in that path? And that's what I realized after all the research I made, of the seminar that I made, of the lectures I did. My first Shabbat was Rabbi Mizrachi. I saw the Shulchan Shabbat. I saw real love between the husband and the wife. Not sex, that's not love. Love without touching. Spiritual love. Love that is growing within the years. The kids, they come, they kiss the hand of the father and the mother. They sing Shir Shabbat. Why not? Why grow up with kids that go right after Kiddush to a club? You don't know if the girl is coming home or not. Who is going to be spending the night with? Why? Is that good? When I was secular, they taught us that love, if you see somebody, a girl, and she sees a guy, she loves him, she's in love. The next week she's with somebody else. So, how come you were in love? That's not love. You may be in love with her hair, with her eyes, with her legs, but you're not in love with her. You're in love with a piece of meat. Excuse my language, but this is the truth. And a woman should know when you present yourself as a piece of meat in the street, when you show your legs, you want to show your body, you want to show everything. A woman should know that you're going to get a guy who's looking for that. Whatever you show in your store, you get customers. If you show them tires, you get people who look for tires. If you show plates, you get customers who look for plates. So don't complain after that. What kind of man I got? Who's just looking for material and is just looking at other women. Because it's the first time when you met, he looks at you the same thing. And that's what you showed him. Instead of showing him your inside, cover everything. Don't look at the outside. Talk to me. If we fit each other, okay, we get married. Then comes the rest. That's what Torah teaches us. כתוב יצחק אבינו, he saw Rivka the first time. And it says in the Torah, ויקחיה לאישה ויאהביה. First he took her, he married her, and then he loved her. When I was secular, I said, what? It's crazy. First he married her, then he loved her. First you love her, then you marry her, right? That's wrong thinking. And I'll tell you why in a logical way. What we used to be taught love is not love. It's like a fisherman who loves his fish. He loves fish, so he eats them. He loves to eat the fish. It's a selfish love. I love her because I think, what do I get from her? She looks good to me. She has money for me. The same with her. She sees him. Is he good for me? Is he has good money for me? What am I going to get from him? He looks good. That's not love. Chazal said, when love is depend on something, שאהבה תלויה בדבר, הדבר קלה, האהבה קלה. To think that the love depends on it, if it goes away, then the love goes away also. If your love was built on the outside, one day the outside is going to be older, it's going to be wrinkled. So if your love was built on that, the love is not going to stay longer. It's not going to last. That's why the guy, especially when he watches TV and movies, which on my new way I realized it's poison to the soul. You see TV, and the TV always puts you the most beautiful women, they audition them. After 2-3 hours of makeup and nice lighting, and he sits in front of the TV every day, close up. Goya, not Jew. Blonde hair, wow, any different kind of hair. And he looks next to him, to the wife, the TV, and next to his wife is tired, taking the kids, watching the phone. I said, wow, that was a wrong decision. Yeah? No doubt. What do you expect from him? And the woman, sometimes she's forcing her husband to go to the beach. With a mixed beach, you crazy? He's going to see their beautiful women. They're always going to be prettier than you. Because he used to see you all the time. And so here's something new. And they're younger, and they're wearing nicer clothes, and they put makeup. It's a big show. The Torah teaches you, you watch as your eyes. You don't go into places like that. You don't go to clubs. You go out with your wife only. I go out with my wife, we go to a park where nobody's there. We sit, we talk. This is romantic. If we go to a cafe or something, we try to look for something there's nobody's there. Just her and me. If not, we picnic in the park, in the night even sometimes. I'm with her, she's with me. We talk to each other, we see each other. I watch my eyes not to look at other women. And she doesn't see TV shows when she sees other young guys who work out all the day in the gym. It's never, relationship like this will never succeed, never. Maybe on the surface they stay together, but when I went back to Israel, they made statistics. About 60%, no, 30 or 40 or 50% of the couples get divorced. About 80 or 90% of the men betray their wives. Statistics in the news. And out of those couples who stay together, they ask them a question. If we get you back in time, would you marry again with your partner? If you had a choice. 80% said no. It means 80% of this 30% which left are not happy with the marriage. So that's bankruptcy to the Jewish family. Why? Because they left the way of Torah. They left the real way. They stuck in the way of the Goyim. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu always reminds us of the Torah. If you live my way, you're going to be miserable. So I realized all that, and I decided that I got to go back to Israel and find a nice Jewish religious wife. The picture of Olivia Newton-John changed in my mind and became a nice Sephardic woman with mitpachat rosh, not a weak Jew like this, like cheating Kadosh Baruch Hu. A real woman with mitpachat rosh, modest, hide herself from other people, and putting makeup only for myself, dressing up for myself at home. That's what I was taught. Kol kebuda bat me'ach pnimad. It's beautiful. Why to show off for the others? For your husband at home. That's the right way. So I went back to Israel, and I received a very bad welcome from my family. In Israel, there's a very, very high campaign against religious in the media. And everybody is watching the media, and they're influenced, like I told you all the time. They're all influenced by the media. So they were against me becoming religious, but like I was before, I was very stubborn. Only now I changed 180%, 180 degrees my ways. But I was the same person, very stubborn, stick to the point. My target was now to make a good Jewish family in the Holy Land in Israel. I left New York right away. I was thinking of myself a couple of nights. Yes, no. After I realized this is the truth, this is the right way, that's it. I cut off right away. So I went to a yeshiva. I started to learn what's right, what's wrong, what I should do, what not. I learned one very important thing that I tell you. It's a good tip if you want to succeed in life. And Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed me that it is the thing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu treats us midah keneged midah. Which means if you go with his way 10%, he's going to give you also 10%. If you go 20%, he's going to give you also 20%. Midah keneged midah. Fair or not? Very fair. If you go within 40, you said, I'm going to do this and this and that, but here I know I can't. No problem. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't demand anything, doesn't force anything. You got a freedom of choice. But He's also going to give you only 50%. And I wanted 100%. I remember I was standing and talking to Him. I told Him, you know what? I want a good family. I want a wife that I'm going to love her and she's going to love me. We're going to be good kids. And I want a house with trees without mortgage. That's what I told Him. You can ask everything from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We ask in Birkat Hamazon. Bakol mikol kol. You can ask everything. He's unlimited. He controls the whole universe, right? Why not? It's a mitzvah to ask from Him. So I told Him, I want this, 1, 2, 3. I made a list. I don't ask too much, but at least I want to be happy. I don't want minus in the bank. I don't want mortgage, no mortgage, nothing. I want a house with I didn't have nothing at that time. At that time, I just had I was spending a lot of money when I was in the States. Even though I made good money, I had like $20,000 that I bought a piece of land in Israel someplace. That's it. I couldn't buy even a small apartment with that, nothing. So, I was in Israel, I had no job, no money left, no friends, nothing. Here in New York, I was a king. I moved to a small room in a house of somebody who rented just the room. And I told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to do everything. I'm not afraid of nothing. What's right? What I can do, I can do. What I cannot, I am not going to do. According to the halacha, exactly. No touching women, no looking, no parties, no nothing. Eat kosher, this, that, tzitzit. Tzitzit I put already here in Queens the first time. I think it was Rabbi again who put me the tzitzit. Here by Main Street someplace. And I went to yeshiva, as I told you before. And then started the shidduchim. Shidduchim is very tough. Especially when you come from America, you go out, and this, suddenly you go in shidduchim, you don't get so many options as you used to. And I wasn't young. In New York, I was 33 when I left. It's the kid in New York. In Manhattan, in the movie world, you're still a kid. In the Torah world, 33, you're an old man. Who's going to take you? But I said, you know what? Ashlech al Hashem yavcha, v'hu yikalkelecha. Kadosh Baruch Hu is unlimited. My family, everybody put me down. I told them, Ptach be'echad ve'al tifchad. Just trust Him, no problem. They thought I became crazy. Started going to lectures, Torah lessons. It was a very great time. I love this time. You have no obligations, no family, no kids to take over, and you can go here and there. I was running from one Torah lesson to another, and I started at the same time working on this divine information that Rabbi Mizrachi told you about. Even when I was in Israel, in the United States, I told Rabbi Mizrachi, I want to do a movie, something using the media to show the truth to the people who don't know them, who won't come to a seminar. And he said, you know what, I got material, I'll give you all my material. He gave me the material that he had. And he came to Israel. He gave a lecture in my family, in my home. So I videotaped him very amateurly. And I was working for about 6 months on this video. And I gave it to some distributor. I told him, I didn't put my name, I didn't put my number, I didn't show any because it was my Tshuvat HaMishkal, Tikkun. The Torah teaches you, if you sinned in something, the way to fix it is on the same level. For example, if you were cheap, you should spread money. I was looking for fame, gava, proud, kavod. I said, now I'm going to make a movie that I don't show there, my name is not there, and I don't even get money of that. No phone number, not my phone number, nothing. I gave to this guy in Bnei Brak. He made hundreds of thousands of this CD. Later, Baruch Hashem, I had the zechut to make other movies like Shata Efes, 0 Hour, Gog Magog, Saada, many others. More than 5 million CDs were spread all over the world in all kind of languages the last 10 years, Baruch Hashem. And then after 2 years, I met my wife in a shidduch. After 50 women that I saw in 2 years, I went all over Israel. Kaparat Abonot, ma shenikra. And Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought me the dream of my life. When I met her, I was amazed how HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He gives everybody what he dreams of as soon as you do His commandments. I was trying hard to go in the right path and go in Kadosh Baruch Hu's way. And when I saw my wife, she was exactly like Olivia Newton-John. Yeah, she looked exactly like her, even much better, much better. I forgot already about this dream, you know. I was looking for Sephardic, nice woman with a mipachat rosh. I didn't care about it anymore. Sheker achen ve'evel hayofi. It wasn't so important for me, but Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me a woman which was she was a Christian model who left everything for the truth. She was seeking the truth, and she came to Israel all by herself in the age of 17. And she converted all by herself, living in Jerusalem. We met in Shidduch. And now, Baruch Hashem, we married for 8 years. We have 4 children. And very, very tzadikah. She gives lectures, talks about modesty to women. Baruch Hashem, 3 years ago, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us the zechut to have a house of our own with backyard and trees and no mortgage, believe it or not. Yeah? You remember the land that I bought for $20,000? We wanted to buy a house. I told him, look, I don't want mortgage. I don't want to be slave to the banks. I can't. I hate to be. I like to be independent. If we don't have enough money, we rent. That's it. That's how I am. So we didn't have enough money. My parents gave a little bit. She doesn't have anything. She's a convert. So we went. She told me, go to Rav David Abu Chatzera, a tzaddik. Whatever he says, we're going to do. For 3 years, we looked for some place to buy in Elad. We live in Elad. It's a religious new town. Rav David Abu Chatzera told me, don't worry, everything is going to be fine. You're going to find right away something just for you. At that time, somebody offered me for this land $80,000. Told her, all right, probably I'm supposed to buy something. I live by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Whatever he tells me, things go away, they go around, then this is the way. Then suddenly, I got somehow some money from somebody in America who owed me a long time ago. I didn't ask for him anything. And then we found the house in about a few weeks after I was in Rav David Abu Chatzera. So we bought it. 2 months later, the value of the houses went up twice, 100%. If I wouldn't buy it on time. But Baruch Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is fixing everything for you. Everything. I'm going on lectures, especially in Israel, sometimes out of the country, but I try not to leave Israel because there's nothing such as it. Comparing to Israel, as soon as I realized that Torah is Emet, they tried to convince me to stay in Monsey. They told me we get you a shidduch or something. I told them, how could you talk about Monsey? You just proved me that Torah is Emet. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Torah, Am Israel and Eretz Israel is one thing. It's one thing. How could you live? I told him, no way. The same month I was in the plane to Israel. What about money, business? What do you mean, what about? You just taught me believing in God, faith. Sometimes people teach you something and they do something else. But I was straight. Whatever I learned, this is it. Tamim tihim Hashem Elokecha. The same thing with the job. What am I going to do in Israel? What job? What am I going to do? I can't work for somebody. You work to be freelance in America. Very easy money. I said, you know what? I'm going to do movies. And I don't take money. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, He's going to send me money. Suddenly somebody gave me, you know what, take $1,000 for this movie. I want zechut in the... Somebody else gave me this, that. I didn't look for anything. Nothing. Half day, I'm a yeshiva student. I get only $150 a month. My wife doesn't work. We have a car, we have a cellular phone, and we don't have meals in the bank. We live very, very, very good. We're not rich, but I'm rich. Because rich for, in my vocabulary before, is not rich now, as it is now. I went to London for a lecture, for example. Told them, you know what, just pay my expenses with my wife. I don't go without my wife, because there's a lot of dangerous things out there. אין אפוטרופוס לעריות. I don't take a chance. Just pay my expenses. I don't want money, nothing. I went to a lecture. After 2 weeks, it was a great evening lecture. After 2 weeks, one of the community there, they sent me a projector and a laptop. I didn't have anything. An amplifier. They brought a big, huge mixer amplifier at the airport for me. I told my wife, you know what? I think now HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to go more out in lectures, because I used to give once in a month something. I was doing more editing. If they sent me from London, I didn't say a word. And they gave me $2,000 for your next movie. That was Gog Magog, which we did. Right after, as soon as I received this equipment, I started getting callings for lectures 3 times a week. Since then up until now, for 6 years, every week, 3 times a week, I have lectures. Sometimes I have more, but I don't take them. I don't want too much. I can do it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is managing everything. My wife was pregnant. She gave birth. You have 2 months, which is very tough. The month before the birth and right after the birth. 2 months, stop. Nobody calls me for lectures. I don't call out. Whoever calls me, I go. No. Right after the month is over, calling. A few years ago, there's a woman, Dina Moshe, you know her? Very righteous woman. She told me on the phone, why don't you make a movie, like a real movie? Not that one that you give away in the CDs, like a small budget. Something real big, which tells what is life all about. Why did Kadosh Baruch Hu create the world? I told her, you're right, it's a good idea, but we have no budget. I make all my movies myself. Sometimes people give me money, sometimes not. I just make the movie. I write down, I have a note with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I write down, I worked on this movie this and this amount of time. So I'm supposed to get this amount of money. That's it, I have a list. And somebody give me money, I put it on the other side of the list. Income. In the end of the year, it's equal. That's how I live. For 8 years. Shtabach Shemo. So, my boss is just HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly. I got offer from organizations to work just for them, and they give me $2,000 a month, which is very good in Israel. Big organization in Israel. I told them, no, I don't want. Because then I'm going to be dependent on you. If you're going to fire me, what am I going to do? After I got used to live like this, directly from Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm not going to go there. So I gave up the offer. So Dina Moshe told me about this movie. Why don't you make a movie like that? I don't look, it's a big budget, but I sat down and I wrote a story. Short story, what the movie is going to be about. I told her, you know what? If somebody comes to me with the money, I might do it. I'm not going to go look for it, nothing. 6 months ago, came to me a woman, very rich woman, which she supported the Bur channel. And all the yeshivas, all the organization after her. You know how they I want money. Everybody's after her. And she came to my home in Elad. She said, I know, I heard about the movies, this and that. I told her, how did you hear? I didn't even put my name. She said, yeah, check around, I want you to make a big movie. I told her, if you want, okay, but it costs money. He said, no matter it costs, here's the money. She told me. I told her, you sure? She said, yes. I told her, you know what? I got to think about it because it's responsibility. I don't take money. I don't run after money. I'm afraid if it's not going to be a good movie, if it's this, if that, the money of Kedusha. We went to Rav David Abu Chatzera. He said, you must do it. So you sure? You must do it. Movie usually takes a feature film with action, actors and this and that. It takes, from the time you write the story, the time is finished, the minimum it's about 2 years. The screenplay itself takes about a year or more. We started with this movie 6 months ago. 2 months before Sukkot. I remember, because we in the right after Sukkot we started shooting. In a few months we finished the screenplay. It was a miracle, amazing. Now the movie is about to be finished. In 1 month when I'm back in Israel, it's finished with effects, after effects, everything. It's going to be like the Israeli Matrix with action, kung fu, Kabbalah, Judaism. We want to tell the whole world what is Judaism all about, but in a universal language. Bezrat Hashem, I hope it's going to be successful. If not, not. I do my best. The rest is up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going to show you. Oh, the projector works?
Yes.
I want to show you another clip of my movie, of the final journey. Over there you're going to have also a little piece from my wedding. How is the projector now?
How is it down?
How is it working now?
It works?
But the same as before?
Yeah.
Wow.
עדיף מכלום.
אתה בטוח?
כן, עכשיו להתחיל לסדר את זה ככה.
But you can't... No, you can't jump it over there. No, it's a problem. Because I can't take it to the... I don't know if there's no chapters. I don't know if there are chapters over there. With my PC, usually I can take it to the end, though. But never mind. לא, אני לא יודע אם אפשר. You can jump over there? No. You don't have it. Never mind.
You can skip to the folders if you press it.